Welcome to Prime Time, bitch. Today on Outside the Box Reviews, we're taking a look at the NECA A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors prop replica glove. And I think, in a way, this is the glove I've been waiting for from NECA. The first one in this series was the remake glove. The second one was the original glove, but there were some screen accurate, but not so iconic tweaks to it. But this glove is pretty much straight up what you think of when you think of Freddy Krueger. As always, underneath the glove, we have our plastic hand to mount it on. Of course, across the bottom, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors logo. It's a very shiny hand this time, and it's also very small. Here we bring in the hand from the original glove, and you can see it is a lot bigger. I was actually wondering when I first saw this hand if it was supposed to be based around a woman's hand instead of a man's hand or something like that, just because the size is so very different. The original glove hand is also much more matte color than this one being very shiny. And the remake glove hand is even larger than that. So with each progressing glove, the hand has gotten smaller. I hope this line continues from NECA, but I really hope this shrinking hand phenomenon doesn't, because if it gets much smaller, I'm not going to be able to put my hand in it. This glove is a much darker color than any of the previous gloves. You can kind of get an idea here at some areas what the original color of the glove probably was, but it's very dark, looking like it was burnt or oil soaked or something, but it looks phenomenal. It's also a very nice leather-ish, I'm sure it's pleather, but it feels very nice. It's very smooth and just very nice. Some good stitching around the edges, the bottom of the glove. Back here we have the tie. Now with the original glove that went over this back plate, now it's underneath. You can adjust it. You can actually adjust it a lot better here than you could with that previous version, because that one, you can only adjust as far as the plate would allow you. Here you could actually adjust underneath and make some better modifications. Once again, we have the bead back here, the red bead, very darkened up. Brass panel in the back. Mine has a couple little black marks on it. Now, I haven't really had a chance to look and see if this was movie accurate or not, but they look cool. They look like they could fit. The back piece is also very scratched up looking, so definitely showing some damage. It's got all the flathead rivets on it. Then we got the copper fingers. Plates here are very bent, very hand forged looking. All of them are slightly different. Fingers themselves look great. The solder on these ones are actually kind of reddish, making it look kind of bloody in a way. Blades are nice. Now these aren't quite as sharp as some of the previous versions. They're very noticeably dulled down at the edges. The other ones kind of came to much more of a point, but that's not a big deal. They work fine, and you really wouldn't want this being too sharp. They're also a little shorter than the original blades, which is an interesting touch. It's kind of a burn through mark here, like the welder was set too hot or got too close to the wrong part of the blade and kind of melted a little bit of it. Underneath we have the rings for the fingers on here. Now these are all just U-shaped pieces, none of the weird shapes we had on the previous glove. And of course they are soldered, welded onto the side here. Looks very nice. The glove itself, as I already mentioned, is significantly tighter, significantly smaller than the previous ones. So it does take a little effort on my part, at least, to put it on. But once you have it on, it is a truly beautiful glove. This is perfect. I really, really like this glove. But once again, I have trouble with one of the fingers. Here, it's the pinky finger. I can't seem to get it to straighten out on my own. I basically, once I close it down, it's kind of stuck. Now, what I've realized, and I think this is the problem with the other glove as well, is that it's actually the joint that isn't as loose as the rest of these. The rest of these fingers I can move very freely. They're very kind of loose joints, very movable joints. The one on this pinky finger is tight. I think the metal is just slightly out of alignment or something. So at some point, maybe I'll try just to slightly reshape this, or put some oil or something on it maybe, just to get it to move a little more freely. And I think then they will all move together. Right now, the pinky finger is kind of stuck down. But that's not horrible. My finger's not falling out of any of the loops. They're all very much in there. Very usable, and the glove's comfortable. It's very similar in weight to the original glove that NECA put out, and that's a plus if you're going to wear it around, like if you go to a costume party or something, because the remake glove actually had a very significant weight to it. It was a very hefty glove, and you wear it for a while, it actually kind of made your hand kind of hurt, because, you know, it was just a weighty thing that you're carrying on your fingers. This has some very good action. I really like just playing with it. It's fun to just sit and, like, you know, watch a Nightmare on Elm Street movie marathon and wear the glove because you're a horror dork like I am and be weird. But but very nice. So overall, I think this is my favorite of the 3 gloves I own, mostly because it's just the most iconic version of the glove. The part 1, as I said, had some very un-iconic things going on with it, and while they were accurate, and while I'm kind of glad they're there, but this is just much more what you think of when you think of Freddy's glove. It's more shaped like a normal glove. There's no safety pin or anything. The blades are all intact. It's just very nice looking. And I love that NECA is able to put these replicas out for the prices they can. They're fairly inexpensive and they're great. They're absolutely wonderful replica gloves. So I highly recommend, if you're a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, pick up any of these. But this one is a strong contender for quite possibly the best they've done. Make sure you check me out on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also check me out on Facebook, link below. And until next time, so when you're Outside the Box Reviews, I'll see you in your nightmares. Heh.